All right, so we've worked on our factoring trinomials, and let's say you have two variables. Instead of just an x, in these examples, we have an x and a y. So how does that change things? So part A, how does multiplying binomials in two variables relate to factoring trinomials? So if we look at this x plus 2y times x plus 4y, we can see we get this trinomial. They've already distributed and combined like terms. X squared plus 6xy plus 8y squared. If we notice, the x times the x gives us the x squared. The 2y times the 4y gives us the 8y squared. So the 2 times 4 are factors of 8. And then the 2 plus the 4 is giving us the 6, and we are getting an xy term because you would multiply x times 4y and get a 4xy, 2y times x, 2xy, and when you add those together you get 6xy. So here are just a couple other examples, but if you notice, the trinomials we get all have the x squared in the first term. They all have the y squared as the last term. That's because in our binomials, the y was in the second term of each binomial. So it ended up as y squared on the end. And then the middle term has an xy product. So the general form for these trinomials in two variables is x squared plus bxy plus cy squared. What we notice is we still have that b value and that c value that we were working with. In fact, we would still look for factors of c that add up to b. So the only thing that's changing is there's an extra y in there. So let's just practice factoring when you have an extra y so we get the hang of these. What is the factored form of x squared plus 10xy plus 24y squared? So we notice the first term has an x squared, the last term has a y squared, and the middle term has that xy product. All right, so we are going to, so in this case, your c value is 24. So we are going to find factors of your c value like we have on all the problems so far. Factors of 24, 1 and 24, we go in order. 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6, and then we're looking for a factor pair that adds up to our b value of positive 10. So if we look through those, well actually let's just find the sum. So we add those, we get 25, 14, 3 plus 8 is 11, 4 plus 6 is 10. So we know we need the 4 and the 6 factors. So when we write our binomial factors, we're going to say, instead of x plus a 4, we're going to say x plus 4y. So the x is in the first term, the y is in the second term, and it's just going to hang out with that factor that we had over here. The second binomial will be x plus 6y, and that is our factored form of that trinomial. So hopefully it feels very similar to what we've been doing, but because of the y squared, we do have to include y's with those factors. So write the factored form of each trinomial. So we have x squared plus 12xy plus 32y squared. So we notice there's an x squared and a y squared, and then an xy in the middle. So we always start with the c value, positive 32. So c is positive. That means your factor pairs will both be positive or they could both be negative. So let's look at our factors of 32. We've got 1 and 32, 2 and 16. 3 is not a factor, 4 is a factor with 8. 5, 6, 7, nope, back to 8, which is a factor, but we already have it listed. All right, now our b value is positive, so that means we want positive factors. So we're looking for a pair that adds up to 12. As you scan through the list, you're probably focusing on the 4 and the 8. So our binomial factors, it's going to be easy just to say x plus 4 times x plus 8. But we do have to remember that there's a y squared in this xy. So it's going to be x plus 4y and then x plus 8y. So we don't want to forget about those. All right. Last one, factor this trinomial x squared minus 10xy plus 21y squared. So we notice the two variables right away. We start always by looking at our c value. Our c value is positive, so that means we have two positive factors or two negative factors. But let's list our factors of 21. 1 times 21, 2, no, 3, yep, 3 and 7. 4, 5, 6, no, 7 is a factor, but we already have it listed. So we have our factors. Now we're looking for a factor pair that's going to add up to a negative 10. So because b is negative, that means the larger factor is negative. So I'm going to put negatives on the larger. Nope, just kidding. I forgot already, you guys. C is positive, and we said if C is positive, your factor pairs have to both be positive or both be negative. Well, if they have to add up to a negative b value, then they all have to be negative. All right. Whew. All right, do we have a factor pair that adds up to negative 10? Yep, we do, right there. Let's not forget to include the y's in our binomial factors. We're going to have x minus 3y times x minus 7y.